Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Krista Van Hove. I'm campus planner at Stanford University and president of the Northern California chapter ASLA. On behalf of the chapter, thank you for joining us for our 2021 annual meeting and awards presentation. We're honored to have so many talented and creative people all in one Zoom call, so thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. Next slide, April. Next slide. If you registered for our event by April 2nd, you should have received a celebration kit in the mail. Please open those up and enjoy the goodies during our presentation if you already haven't. And thank you to Laura Lure and her husband and 2 sons for putting our party boxes together and mailing them so that our celebration could feel a little bit more festive from home. 2, if you're comfortable, please turn on your camera. We'd love to see all your bow ties and tiaras. And lastly, for those of you who want to know who is on the executive committee, you will see an ASLA-NCC in front of their names. And sponsors, also feel free to rename yourselves with your company as well. For tonight's agenda, it will include a couple of reports from our chapter executive committee, and then we will present our awards, and I will start us off with our chapter updates since we met last December. I would like to start off with appreciation for all of you and your membership and continued participation in the chapter. We recognize the challenges, losses, and difficulties you may have faced this past year. When times get tough, though, it's important for us to come together and support one another, especially for our friends and colleagues that are a part of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. We would like to acknowledge the violence and hate that has surged since the beginning of this pandemic and sadly has not stopped. We condemn these horrible acts and we urge our members and partners to speak out against this type of discrimination whenever and wherever possible. Our chapter has a committee dedicated to justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, also known as JEDI. As a part of our initiatives last year, we made a 4-part action plan to commit, educate, open up opportunities, and be intentional. This group is working hard and will have a new JEDI webpage. The link to the site will go out in the spring newsletter. This website will be a place where we can host resources, information, and opportunities to get involved. This year, our Emerging Professional and Students Committee has blossomed and grown in order to support the students and recent grads for our local university landscape architecture programs and new professionals to the area as well. This committee has helped support local mentor programs, portfolio reviews, networking events, and we were also able to sponsor 22 students to go to the Labash conference hosted last weekend by Cornell. Through these efforts, we have also gained a group of roughly 15 volunteers that are helping us provide more resources for all of you. One of the projects that has come out of this group is the Bay Area Resources Community, also known as LARC. You may have seen their announcements and social media posts. This group is collecting helpful landscape architecture resources that will in turn help to create community and common themes. Stay tuned for more exciting things to come from our volunteers. Another highlight this year we have seen many of you at is our Lunch with Leaders Industry Icon series. Since last summer, we have hosted Pamela Conrad, Alma DeSillier, Rosa Sheng, Jacinta McCann, Tom Rose, John Lays, Michael Grove, Kellyanne Foster, Sarah Hammerschmidt, and Angela Dye. We have professionals lined up for this series all the way through December and are currently working on the schedule for 2022. We have all these things happening and so much more right now, and we don't want to forget all the hard work that our awards committee has put into making tonight's event possible. Just a reminder that our call for nominations for the 2021 and 22 executive committee is now open, and the deadline to nominate yourself or a colleague is April 30th. Before I turn things over to Amy for the trustees report, I'd like to turn the mic over to one of our executive committee members, Blake Sanborn, to share the latest project the Sustainability and Stewardship Committee would like you all to be a part of.
Thank you so much, Krista. So our Sustainability and Stewardship Committee has an initiative that is kicking off, and we just wanted to share a little bit about it. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with the fact that approximately 50% of our cities or urban spaces are dedicated to vehicles. Next slide. And what we're working on is an initiative that's finding promise in the pandemic landscape. It's a celebration of the places emerging for people in pictures. And the next few slides are some examples, but essentially people have realized that our public open spaces are not just nice to have, but they're actually critical pieces of infrastructure. And we've been awed and inspired by the ways that our communities have taken these and made them their own. And through this time of need, have used them to come together to be more resilient. And so what we're looking for is submissions of photos that you can upload to our website using the link that we'll provide in the chat of how you've experienced the pandemic landscape, and particularly the innovative and creative spaces that have emerged during this time. And in hopes of organizing this material into something that could be shared more broadly, and that some of these temporary initiatives may, in fact, work their way into permanent improvements for our society. So thank you so much for giving us a moment of your time. I hope to see some of your contributions. Feel free to share the chat or the link as widely as you like. We would love as much as we could get. And again, I'll drop the link into the chat, or you could find it on the Northern California ASLA website. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Blake. Now I'd like to invite Amy Couples to give the trustees report.
Thank you, Krista. So I'll try and keep this short and sweet, but currently ASLA is still planning to hold the Conference on Landscape Architecture in person in Nashville on November 19th through 22nd this year. All pandemic requirements will be followed for masking and social distancing, but at this point the conference is on. So when you get the invitation, please sign up. ASLA has also changed its strategy towards social media and how to use it to increase our presence and outreach through a series of outreach campaigns, focused campaigns, and collaboration with our sister organizations and other news outlets. These initial campaigns, through these initial campaigns, we've seen a rising in numbers with a 49% increase overall in our total audience.
Yeah, so that's it.
Leading to an increasing awareness of landscape architecture within the general public. And as we all know, 2020 was a difficult year and ASLA was not immune. We closed the Center for ASLA Landscape Architecture in DC in the spring of 2020, which allowed for some savings. We also received funding through the Federal CARES Act to maintain our staff in DC and balance our budget, which had taken a significant hit from the canceling of the 2020 Conference on Landscape Architecture in Miami. Closer to home, ASLA has continued to release information to its membership about COVID resources, including best practices during the time of COVID, which you can all find on the ASLA website. Lastly, and most importantly, I'd like to bring your attention to ASLA's Racial Equity Plan of Action. ASLA rejects bigotry and racism in all its forms, and anti-Black racism in particular, as wrong and fundamentally inconsistent with our mission and values. As such, ASLA has developed a 5-point plan as we move forward and out of this dark time. 1, diversifying the pipeline, equipping our students and institutions to lead in this work. 2, acknowledging racism in the profession and honoring the forgotten, making it clear where we stand and where we aim to go. 3, reshaping the conversation and transforming frameworks, establishing enduring structures for the journey ahead. 4, leading through education, conversation, and policy, developing and disseminating content on advancing racial equity. 5, accountability, maintaining meaningful and measurable progress. To learn more about this and to discover opportunities for how to be involved, please go to asla.org and click on the racial equity mission icon or contact us, your local chapter reps. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And feel free to reach out to Amy or myself if any of you have any comments or questions about what is happening at National. Next up, I'd like to introduce Tala Fatalazadeh for our CC ASLA report.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so my name is Tala Fatalazadeh, and I, along with Rick Hendricks, are your CC ASLA representatives for our Northern California chapter. So for those of you that don't know what CC ASLA is or don't know what it stands for, it's the California Council of the American Society of Landscape Architects. And so we are an organization comprised of members of all 4 of the California chapters, including San Diego, Southern California, Sierra, and of course, our Northern California chapter. And the purpose of our group is essentially to advance the profession in the realm of the state of California. So we meet with a group of lobbyists and administrators that kind of help keep an eye and an ear on what's going on at the state level and how landscape architects can have a voice and a seat at that table. Some of the key issues that we worked on in the past year and will continue to work on this year include the pandemic response. So we've been keeping track of funding for small business loans and other supportive legislature and bills that affect businesses during the pandemic. Climate change was another big topic for us. The governor recently passed an executive order which establishes a goal of protecting 30% of California's lands and waters by 2030. And so we've established a group of representatives to touch base with the Natural Resources Agency on the next steps and how we want to reach those goals. Other than that, we're currently tracking 22 different bills under a variety of different issues, including environmental, public works, licensure and fees, climate, water, and protection of other natural resources as well. So continue to look for our updates in the next year to come. And if you find yourself fascinated with how our profession relates to policy, we do have a CC ASLA position opening up on the board next year. So I just wanted to throw a little pitch for it. It's a 2-year term. So I'm actually just coming off of my second 2-year term. So I'm wrapping up my 4th year as one of your representatives. And from my experience, and I'll just say as part of my professional life as well, I work as a landscape architect for the city of San Jose. And I can tell you that we need more landscape architects involved in the public realm. I think where landscape architects have for so long been reactive to policies and aiming to be the design professionals to respond to different policies that come out of government, that it is high time that we start writing some of these policies and demanding a stronger seat at that table. So a great way to do that is to be part of CC ASLA. And so if you're interested, I strongly recommend you apply. It's been very enjoyable to be a representative for the past 4 years. And so I think Kristen mentioned earlier, the call for nominations is currently open, I think until the end of this month. So thank you all. That's your CC ASLA report for the night, and let's continue to party on.
All right, thank you, Tala. I like that. Let's engage with the public realm. So all right, it's time for what you all have been waiting for, the 2021 awards presentation. Each year, the chapter awards program celebrates the outstanding work of our members. This program would not be possible without the support of our corporate sponsors. We would like to thank, next slide, Laura. Cold Springs, our platinum sponsor. Our gold sponsors are Delta Bluegrass, Maglin, Park West, Spec, and Victor Stanley. And our silver sponsors are Bellegarde, Devil Mountain, Uverde, Compen Landscape Forms, Miracle Play Systems, Site, Rainbird, SF Street Furniture Australia, and Turnasol. Thank you again. In acknowledgement of the significant social impacts landscape architecture has on our communities, the 2021 call for entries included the community impact category, including justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. We received 48 award submissions this year in these categories that you see before you. And from this extraordinary collection of work, the jury recognized 14 projects with merit awards, 4 projects with honor awards. Next slide. For those of you that don't know, we'll go back one. The honor award is defined as given to any number of superior projects, and the merit is given to any number of outstanding projects. And so we wanted to thank our jury for the service to the chapter. It's never an easy task, and you guys all came together for a Saturday to deliberate. You took the time to review all the submission and entries, and so it's never easy having to narrow down the options. And so we also want to do a huge shout out to all of those who submitted awards entries for this year. We were just blown away by the work that you've all dedicated so much time and hours to. Right, next slide, or does it? Okay, and just a side note, award certificate will be mailed to you. The winners will be posted on the website Friday morning and will be shared through social media over the coming month. The recording of this presentation will be emailed out next week and posted on the website. So as we get into it, please mute yourselves during the presentation of the awards, but we encourage you all to use the chat to congratulate the award winners. And at the conclusion of the ceremony, we'd like to ask everyone to unmute and we'll do a big round of congratulations. I'd like to introduce our presenters this evening. We have Monique Bassi, Elizabeth Boltz, and Lucas Schellhammer that will be narrating the winners.
Okay, let's get started. So in the category of student entries, the Merit Award goes to The Journey, Xiun Huan, UC Berkeley. The project transforms San Bruno Mountains quarry into a cemetery, takes the current topography and has some regrading to transfer the quarry into a resting place, a space that keeps away from the outer worlds and close to nature. The aim of this memorial design is to create a place not only full of grief, but also a place of hope and comfort. The pain is real, but life goes on, and we will eventually meet somewhere. The changing emotions inform the design of the space, and people will eventually feel the encouragement and comfort that the landscape brings. Congratulations, Xiun Huan.
In the category of community impact, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, the Merit Award goes to Buchanan Mall, Martha Clifford, Office of Cheryl Barton. In 1975, following years of destructive urban renewal programs in San Francisco's predominantly African-American Western Addition neighborhood, 5 blocks of Buchanan Street were converted into a pedestrian boulevard, known today as Buchanan Mall. The surrounding neighborhood suffered from the effects of the drug epidemic in the 1980s and 90s, with increased crime and violence creating an atmosphere of fear in the mall. This fear persisted until recently when a multidisciplinary project team undertook a unique and ambitious public outreach effort involving the programming and design of the park by community members themselves. Together, the community and design team developed a capacity for reflective listening, synthesizing objectives and ideas into coherent, compelling design. The outcome is a concept design that addresses the community's primary concerns and connects the 5 park blocks through key design strategies: developing functional exterior spaces that promote community, connectivity, and socialization, providing accessible circulation and wayfinding, clarifying boundaries between public and private spaces, renewing the existing streetscape, and celebrating the neighborhood's story and culture through visual artistic displays. Congratulations, Office of Cheryl Barton.
In the category of community impact, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, the Merit Award goes to Dolores Street Pollinator Boulevard, Jessica Razul, Base Landscape Architecture. The Dolores Street Pollinator Boulevard is an urban resiliency project that creates healthy and diverse ecosystems, cultivates community, and revives the civic values of one of San Francisco's landmark streets. Located in the Mission, an iconic neighborhood that struggles to maintain its identity of refuge and diversity, the Pollinator Boulevard is a ribbon of habitat that redefines street median space in a beautiful and ecologically meaningful way. This highly visible project fosters community building and stewardship for critical habitat and vulnerable species in an underutilized space. By reviving the historic intentions of a splendid landscape boulevard, islands plagued with brown turf and invasive weeds are replaced with smart pollinator plantings that better reflect the colorful and diverse character of the neighborhood and respond to the ongoing water shortage in California. Via a nonprofit, the project mobilizes the voices and actions of local residents, city officials, businesses, educators, scientists, and volunteers seeking to find enduring solutions for contemporary urban design challenges. Congratulations, Base Landscape Architecture.
In the category of community impact, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, the honor award goes to Mosswood Park Master Plan and Community Engagement, Sarah Clue, Einwiller Clue INC. Championed by placekeeping and a definition of history and historic preservation that includes the last 50 years of social movements and community resistance to structural racism, the Mosswood Park Master Plan is an example of how planning documents can support equity, environmental justice, community stewardship, and community-based design. Beginning with a deep dive into layers of history at the site, the Master Plan document ultimately defines a framework for planning and future decisions that was identified by the community and identified targeted goals that would promote equity, work against structural racism, disinvestment, and improve environmental justice and sustainability. The Mosswood Park Master Plan is an example of sustainable design that is rooted in equity, community, and most importantly, has defined measures for accountability. Congratulations, Einwiller Clue INC.
In the category of urban design, the Merit Award goes to Everyone Deserves a Garden, Ping Yuan Public Housing Rehabilitation, Renee Behan SWA Group. At the first public housing in San Francisco's Chinatown, Ping Yuan is part of a design dark legacy of segregation and represents a century-long history of Chinese American struggle for justice and equity. The development, which was completed in 1961, can house 434 lower-income families. It is an environment with strong mutual support and sense of place. However, it has suffered from underfunded management, sporadic maintenance, crime, and deteriorating infrastructure over the years. In 2014, after the project was transferred from San Francisco city government to Chinatown Community Development, improvement was initiated to upgrade the overall atmosphere. Everyone Deserves a Garden was the driving concept for the design, which mixes California native plants with traditional Chinese garden species in a sophisticated combination of cultural and local texture. The rehabilitation deinstitutionalizes the development, replacing spear-pointed gates with entry portal facades and employing eccentric garden-esque plantings, residential furnishings, and natural materials, signaling a dramatic shift in the perception of the space. Congratulations, SWA Group.
In the category of urban design, the honor award goes to Brooklyn Basin Township Commons, Sarah Kuhl, Einweiler Kuhl Incorporated. Urban design critic John King of the San Francisco Chronicle described Township Commons as a startling act of urban reinvention that, with time, would pull people across the city to an area that until now has been off the map. The new park welcomes Oakland residents back to their waterfront with bold and brave definition of a park, an adaptive reuse conceived with radical imagination. The park is located within the footprint of the former 9th Avenue terminal and is inspired by the shipping and history of the site. Select building elements include remnant walls, retrofitted building trusses, and the imprint of loading dock geometry that are preserved in the new design, but also transformed to inspire and allow for new uses, including the creation of containers of coastal low water use plants. The project was immediately embraced by locals for recreational movements and along the water's edge and gathering. Its success as the first phase of the Brooklyn Basin development has created a strong public identity for the new neighborhood. Congratulations, Einweiler Kuhl Incorporated.
In the category of design, parks, recreation, trails, and open space, the Merit Award goes to Felton Library Discovery Park, Jessica Razul, Base Landscape Architecture. The Felton Library Discovery Park is an innovative outdoor space designed as a sanctuary for pollinators, learning, and play. Adjacent to a new Creekside Library, the park cultivates a relationship between visitors and the natural world around them, weaving together creek restoration, educational nature play, and an interpretive loop trail to create a captivating community park in the old growth redwood coasts of Santa Cruz County. The park drew upon community outreach events to create a conservation forward design which extends the library's spirit of wonder and discovery out into the landscape. The park includes the removal of a culvert, 2 new bridges which span the creek, riparian restoration, a pollinator habitat garden, a learning demonstration area with watershed exhibits, a tot gravel dig area, a stage and amphitheater with musical instruments, a nature play area with climbing and balance logs, a giant nest, a human sundial, a quiet gathering area, and cultural and environmental educational exhibits on the trail. Congratulations, Base Landscape Architecture.
In the category of design residential, the Merit Award goes to Art House, Andrea Cochran Landscape Architect, ACLA. On a steep hillside in San Francisco, a terraced garden is seamlessly integrated with the architecture to create a series of intimate, flexible outdoor spaces. The design team worked with the client to accommodate a desire for flexible entertainment spaces by creating a series of stacked gardens as well as a green roof. Taking advantage of the steep downsloping yard, the landscape architect carved into the hillside to create a lower, more secluded and partially enclosed entertainment space with spa and fire feature. The cabaña's roof offers year-round use while also serving as the terrace and viewing platform to the outdoor living space above. Working closely with the architects to maintain a unified concept and design goals, the team was able to cohesively blend interior and exterior, maximizing functionality for the client and capturing breathtaking views of the surrounding landscape at each level. Congratulations, ACLA.
In the category of residential design, the Merit Award goes to Slot House, Gretchen Whittier, Artera Landscape Architects. Sited in the midst of an oak woodland in the Los Altos Hills, the striking modernism of Slot House called for a decisive but restrained approach to its landscape plan. With colors and textures that stand up to the home's bold forms, yet soften its angularity. A minimal palette of warm tones on the house and paving, pops of red in the plants and an architectural fountain. and a living roof with a succulent garden add interest and invite exploration, while deftly integrating the home into its hillside site. Hardscape plantings and a three-tiered fountain direct arrivals from the auto court through the home as it ascends on its sloping grade, then outside again to an expansive view of the foothills open space preserve. Porcelain tile, terraces and patios, a fire feature, and an infinity edge hot tub extend the living spaces and offered varied experience for large gatherings as well as intimate moments. Gravel paths leading to secluded seating area and a bench overlook offer the sense of discovery and maximize exploration of this special site. Congratulations, Arterra Landscape Architects.
In the category of design residential, the Merit Award goes to Sun City, Tachikawa, Showa, Kinninkon, John Loomis, SWA Group. Showa Memorial Park in the western Tokyo suburb of Tachikawa opened in 1983 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Emperor Showa's reign. The 400-acre national park repurposed a former Japanese military airfield and post-war era US Air Base, which was returned to the Japanese government in 1977. Tokyo's largest park, Showa Memorial Park, has become a national treasure and the ideal setting for Japanese premium senior living park brand. Sun City by half century more. In 2018, HCM opened its newest senior community, Sun City Tachikawa Showa Kinninkon. Bordered on the east and south by a great park, this flagship LPC life planning community provides 101 independent living units and 91 nursing units on a 9-acre site. The Japanese garden design technique, shaki, the principle of borrowing nearby or distant scenery, became the guiding precedent behind the site planning and landscape design. The borrowed woodland edges of Showa Memorial Park and the sensitive building layout, in conjunction with the introduced landscape, reinforce the experience of being in the park at this landmark senior community in Japan. Congratulations, SWA Group.
In the category of design residential, the honor award goes to Oak House, Dave Roche, Roche & Roche Landscape Architect. For this contemporary rural home, the clients wanted a simple architectural expression to provide a background for their collection of contemporary indoor and outdoor art. Iconic without ornamentation or color, the home provides a foil for both art and landscape. The landscape architect worked with the client to preserve and protect the existing creek habitat on 2 sides of the property, the many mature native oaks throughout, and a small existing grove of coast redwoods. Grading and retaining interventions were minimized. Permeable gravel auto court and paths and mulch trails allow for percolation of rainfall, and bioretention features planted with natives help to slow and filter the concentrated roof runoff. Planting and irrigation were limited to the areas immediately surrounding the buildings, leaving 60% of the site in its existing state of naturalized annual grasses, unirrigated and mowed only as necessary for fire safety. A simple palette of uncolored board-formed concrete walls, concrete coping, and large concrete paving pads with gravel joints set off the dark interior pool and let the architecture and the plantings shine. Congratulations, Roche & Roche Landscape Architects.
In the category of general design, the Merit Award goes to Better Place Forest, Point Arena, David Fletcher, Fletcher Studio. Within these protected forests, families choose trees to mark the place where they will spread their loved ones' ashes over generations. The concept has a simple poetry, merging ritual, memorial, and forest conservation. Yet, its realization involved a large team of design and technical specialists, led by the submitting landscape architecture firm. The project establishes a framework for future sites, each with their own unique qualities. The submitting landscape architecture studio was selected to design America's first forest spreading cemetery. The client offers an alternative to traditional cemetery, a conservation system of tree sponsorship that preserves, restores, and manages large forests in the US. The studio acted as the prime consultant and assembled a team of forest ecologists, artists, designers, and other consultants to realize the first project in Northern California. Their work included master planning the property, designing structures, spaces, trail systems, wayfinding and signage, the life marker, and habitat restoration. Congratulations, Fletcher Studio.
In the category of general design, the Merit Award goes to Crane Cove Park, Patricia Fonseca, AECOM. In a time of a global pandemic, when cities have realized more than ever that open space is critical for the health of their residents, Crane Cove Park opened in September in 2020 with great excitement and anticipation. Located in Dog Patch, San Francisco's fastest growing neighborhood, this 7-acre park proves a new major open space in an area that historically has lacked it. Crane Cove Park is one of the first major open spaces along the Blue Greenway, a network of bayfront parks that aims to improve Southeast San Francisco. It also is the first park built in Pier 70, a historic district with a master plan being carried out by the Port of San Francisco within a 69-acre former shipbuilding site. The site has experienced a transformation from a closed industrial site to what is now a thriving, active waterfront park. The design embraces and celebrates the site's richest maritime history while also integrating new access to the water and diverse recreational program. Congratulations, AECOM.
In the category of general design, the Merit Award goes to Independence Drive, Stefan Twilo, Twilo Associates Limited. At the first phase of a new high-tech campus, the primary goal of this landscape project was to seamlessly link an 8-story office building, adjacent parking garage, cafe, and fitness center. Utilizing a unifying materials palette, bold forms, and an elegantly simple planting scheme, the landscape design organizes the site's complex constraints into a dynamic arrangement of comfortable plazas, walkways, and street frontage. Stylistically different from the architecture, the landscape creates usable spaces that complement yet function independently from the site structures. The project is certified LEED Gold. Congratulations, Twilo Associates.
In the category of general design, the Merit Award goes to Yifeng Arts Center, Chung Po Feng, YIHE Landscape Architecture. Once an unfinished, abandoned concrete structure, the Yifeng Arts Center has become the heart and soul of the new community in the Zanzulin district of Chengquin. This structure's masterful, adaptive reuse provides essential social gathering opportunities for the new community, from an indoor swimming pool and gym to the sky bar, multi-purpose rooms, and art gallery. The space not only houses art and sculptures, but is an exhibit in and of itself. The design takes cues from the region's geography as a translation area between the Tibetan Plateau on the Yangtze River banks by placing water as a central organizing element of the site's many rooms. Principles of traditional Chinese garden design are artfully woven into each room in a contemporary way. The denial and reward, the hide and reveal, wall reflection, shadow, and light blur the lines between structure and landscape, a striking transformation from the empty concrete box it once was. The Yifeng Arts Center provides community cohesion and social support for the growing Danzulin community through a celebration of art and culture. Congratulations, YIHE Landscape Architecture.
In the category of general design, the honor award goes to UC Berkeley Haas School of Business Expansion, Gary Strang, GLS Landscape Architecture. Chow Hall, dedicated by Janet Napolitano and declared the greenest academic building in the United States, caps the two-phase reconceptualization of Haas School of Business and updates architect Charles Moore's final work. The building complex, nestled in the hills of UC Berkeley, embodies many of Moore's postmodern themes and includes a rambling series of courtyards and rooms stepping down a steep slope. His courtyard design offered frequent spatial divisions defined by raised planters, which incorporated a variety of curves and angles. While the informality of these planters fostered spatial intimacy, it is no longer accommodated the diversity of programming required for the growing school. To modernize Moore's intimate courtyard spaces, strengthen the civic core of the campus, and accommodate a growing student population, the landscape architect focused on openness and programmatic flexibility so that the business school could accommodate large gatherings such as commencements and fundraisers, while improving the heart of the school as an intimate civic and collegial space. Congratulations, GLS Landscape Architecture.
In the category of analysis and planning, the Merit Award goes to Dongguan Central Park Area, Zhaoji Wu SWA Group. Dongguan, known as the world's factory, is a typical decentralized manufacturing city located in China's Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. The city intends to establish a new, strong central business district with a livable environment and distinct cultural identity. Bolstering the area's case for livability in the 32-hectare Dongguan Central Park, which was envisioned as the catalyst for the city's new growth and evolution, soil, water, and planting strategies set up a healthy base for habitat establishment. Creative use of local materials strengthen this sense of cultural identity, and multi-layered development takes full advantage of the city's last piece of undeveloped land, resulting in a one-stop, all-day social and recreational destination. Dongguan Central Park breaks the mold for many parks in China, which tend never to change once developed. Inspired by the hardy roots of the native banyan tree, the park is designed as the seed of a living system, sprouting from the compacted urban ground, permeating into dense development, and evolving along with its surroundings. Congratulations, SWA Group.
In the category of analysis and planning, the Merit Award goes to Ningbo Lion Mountain, transforming topography into community infrastructure, Ellen Orchard Platt Studio. Located between central Ningbo, China, and nearby scenic landscapes, Ningbo Lion Mountain is poised to provide vast ecological and recreational benefits by linking local open spaces. Rising 82 meters above agricultural villages within a developing mixed-use district, the site has remained largely inaccessible. The steep topography and lack of paths has left it undeveloped, but also underutilized. Ningbo Lion Mountain is at the heart of the 2019 Zhangbai District Master Plan that envisions new recreational linkages, which take advantage of site topography. The design proposes strategic access points and a comprehensive network of various paths and programs to connect the park to its urban interface. This framework prioritizes ecological regeneration and innovative programming to support climate resilience and community health. Congratulations, Platt Studio.
Now, if everyone can unmute themselves and we can do one final round of applause and cheers with your clappers, voices.
Woohoo!
Congratulations. Great
Work, everybody.
Yay.
Hey, all right.
Congratulations, everyone. Good job.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
Fantastic.
Fantastico.
Magnifico.
Encore. Just kidding. Congratulations. And Thank you to all who submitted projects for consideration. We appreciate all the time and thoughtfulness that you put into making your award submissions. For those that did not submit projects this year, we look forward to your entries next year. Keep up the good work. On behalf of the ASLA Northern California chapter, we appreciate your participation in tonight's event program, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. And happy World Landscape Architecture Month. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Congrats to the jurors.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Laura.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See you guys.
Bye. Good night.